program for you today. We're here at J4P Associates, Model Property Owners. And you're going to find out a lot about what's going on in Baltimore, especially the East Side. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Thanks everyone for coming. Good afternoon again. So this promises to be a very special conversation this particular morning. Here, this is the 8th annual Black History Month event. I'm Carl Stokes. I'm a consultant with J4P Associates.
Let's be realistic that we cannot compete financially with many of our competitors because the resources that they put on the table to attract our brightest and best.
When you look at the impact that technology has had on higher education, when you look at distance learning, when you look at the increased diversification of our campuses, these are issues that our HBCUs and, quite frankly, many of our other institutions did not have to deal with in years past.
The graduation rates for minority students and the graduation rates for white students is identical. Statistically, there's no difference, and I think it's because students know that they are our number one priority throughout. They are always our number one priority, and they also, in a general sense, you can when you talk to faculty at Townsend.
And when you talk to community colleges, one of the things you'll find is one of their largest enrollments coming into the second semester are kids returning from some of these PWIs that have got into trouble. So I cast no dispersion. I'm just saying we need to look at the facts.
Here at J4P Associates with Peter Handel, who is the president of J4P Associates.
Thank you, John. It's good to be here.
It's great to have you here. And congratulations on your award from the governor of Model Property Owner.
Isn't that nice?
Explain how that happened, sir.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, Pat is my partner here at the J4P complex, and she's been a major part of what we've done over the years, and she's working very assiduously with people in the community to try to do more things as well.
Okay, you're a model property owner. What advice do you have for other property owners in Baltimore City?
I think it's to create the win-win-win that I was talking about. Because if it's all about you, it's all about what you want, that doesn't work. You've got to look at it from the other person's point of view. You've got to see what is it that your tenants want, and to give that to them, and then everybody benefits.
This is John Carrington welcoming you to another edition of Spotlight on the National Great Blacks in Wax Museum. Today we're going to have a special program. It's entitled Recognizing Small Businesses Owned by Big Thinkers, and it's sponsored by J4P Associates. So don't go anywhere, and you're going to see what's going on with small businesses that are owned by big thinkers.
Knowledgeable about what Peter and J4P wanted in East Baltimore and in the state of Maryland, and how to get things done. I was in a position to come to work with Peter and J4P.
But you know, as much as there is the example of what Peter has done here, and what all the businesses that have done who have gone before us, it really comes down to each and every one doing their part. So you can't run my business for me.
And there she is. Thank you so much for all you've done. This is your citation from Senator Ben Cardin, and in fact, if you have two hands, then you can hold both. One from Senator Cardin, and the other one from Senator Mikulski. Thank you. Ray, would you get another photograph of that, please?
There's about 1,500 people that work here, and that's been a really major economic boom to the area. I remember after the healthcare event that we had for Black History Month a couple of years ago, a man across the street came up to me after it was here, came up to me and he said, "Thank you, Mr. Handel." And I said, "You're welcome." And I thought he was saying thank you for lunch, for the event. And he said, no, you don't understand. He said, "I live across the street." And he said, "When I wake up in the morning and I leave my apartment with my son, I'm proud to live in the neighborhood."
I'm John Carrington, and of course I have here Mr. Peter Handel, who is the CEO for J4P Associates, and you're doing a wonderful job here. Now, you have a connection in New York also.
Thank you, John, that's right, yes, I do.
All right, now are you responsible for this region, or are you responsible for everything in J4P?
Everything in J4P, absolutely.
Your word.
All right.
And we're celebrating Black History Month.
We're celebrating a couple of things. With Black History Month, we're celebrating the 50th anniversary of the March on Washington, which I participated in. I hate to admit how old I am. And we're celebrating the 25th anniversary of J4P in this community.
Judge Bell has been chief for over a decade. He is, in East Baltimore, we always love to be proud of our folk, not living very far from this actual site. We just talked about coming up here to the garden center of the old Sears Roebuck building. He's a graduate of Morgan Harvard Law School.
Everybody talks about Bell against Maryland, and my name is on the case, true. But that was Morgan students. Those were we were involved, the high school students were involved because Morgan students decided that it was time to get us involved, recruited high school students, and we sat in and boycotted and picketed stores in downtown Baltimore at their instigation as a part of an overall effort to change the segregated nature of this particular city.
When I was at Morgan had a reputation, as Judge Bell said, of social justice activity. And we continued that. That was continued with every class. So when I came to Morgan, I already knew about the efforts of the 1942-43 class that picketed the Ford's Theater.
I'm always, I looked through the 120th edition of the paper, and we talked about things that happened long before 1963. We can look and see front page reprints from 1915, 1908. So there have been fights for equality that have just been ongoing, and so the paper was a champion, or still is a champion for civil rights.
And so we've got to really recall where we were pre-civil rights movement.
Right.
And that was when we had a common purpose and a common interest. And it was not them and they, it was we, because we all were in the same boat. And we don't realize now that we are still in the same boat. We're still in the same boat, and we've got to proceed as if we were in the same boat. And only if we do that will we be able to bring this thing back to where it should be, to rewrite the ship, as it were.
Anyone else would like to speak to that?
I certainly agree with Judge Bell. Nothing distresses me more, and I talk to a lot of middle school youngsters. I do that. That's part of my crusade about our past history. Nothing bothers me more than the fact that we chopped off our history. Everybody wants to start with 1963 and the March on Washington. And I have an interesting story about that in the federal government, which I will not go into right now. But we chop it off. we don't realize that we live in the richest historical city in the United States of America.
What has been the highlight of your tenure?
Well, actually, it was last year when we celebrated our 25th anniversary. It really, all of a sudden, 25 years in East Baltimore. That was really, I mean, the time went so fast, and it's been a lot of fun. I think one of the highlights has been meeting the people in the community.
Peter Handel, CEO of J4P Associates, you are wonderful, and you're a treasure.